Hi, this is Monica from Run, Eat, Repeat, and I'm sharing a quick update on training for the Dopey Challenge, both weeks 1 and 2. I'm rolling them together, foam rolling them together, if you will, because I want to make sure to document the entire experience from the very beginning. And weeks 1 and 2 went by very quickly for a lot of reasons, which we will get into before I start chatting about it. Make sure that you like and subscribe so that you can keep up with me. And let me know if you have any questions. Follow me on Instagram at Run, Eat, Repeat. Let's talk about running, eating, repeating, all of the things. Okay, first, let's jump in a little time machine and go back to when I registered for Dopey this year. It was kind of on a whim. Usually Run Disney races sell out very quickly. I figured it was going to be sold out, and then that's just fate. Wasn't meant to be this year. However, when I checked the registration site, I thought I scored because the Dopey Challenge was still open and available. In hindsight, maybe the smart people registered for the 5K, 10K, half, or full marathon individually. So they decided to run one race of their choice, or even Goofy's race and a half. Oddly, Dopey was still open. I registered and then counted the weeks until the race and realized I had a lot less time than most of the training plans actually suggest. So I think a lot of the training plans are 35 weeks, 30 weeks. They're a lot longer than a standard marathon training program for a good reason. You're not just doing a marathon. Before you do that marathon, you've already done a half the day before, a 10K the day before that, and a 5K the day before that. So it takes longer to train for this challenge. It is many more miles. Okay, got it. The thing is that by the time I realized that, counted up the weeks, realized I needed to start training, but I had a race week 1. So week 1, I actually had to taper a little bit. Oddly enough, I had to cut back my miles, which would seem like I should have been doing the opposite because I had a half marathon the end of week 1. So I kind of was tapering going into that. It was actually my first race since the whole pandemic started. So the good thing about that is it gave me an idea, a solid idea of where I am fitness-wise. I have gained a lot of weight. The COVID-15, maybe the COVID-20, if you will. So there's that, which makes it more challenging, and slow down due to the weight and lack of races and probably lack of speed work, all of the things. Okay, so there's that. That was week 1. And then week 2, because I hadn't raced in such a long time, I did want to take a recovery week fairly seriously to make sure. In the past, I was running multiple races every month, just back-to-back half marathons, full marathons. I was in it to have fun with it, not in it to win it, but I was running a ton and didn't necessarily need to take a lot of time to recover after a half marathon. I would more do it if it was a full marathon. But since I hadn't raced in so long, I wanted to make sure that I was mindful of that. Week 2, I kind of focused on recovery, stretching, strength and conditioning, and I had a little bit of extra time and energy, and I put that into designing a training program that would work for me, given my preference to when I want to do long runs, how difficult I wanted it, and incorporating the races that I have coming up, which I have a few fall races, and it's kind of hard to tell what is going to actually happen versus there are still some races kind of that are TBD. And I also actually, this isn't the exact one because this is more for like a half marathon, but I made this cute one. I don't think you can see it. I'll put a picture in the post. I made a very cute training plan design with mouse ears around the running days, and it made me totally excited. But I think it was because getting back to racing, signing up for this race, I just had some extra energy to get out, and that's like a positive cause to put it into, right? I also did a ton of research on where to stay. I kind of started doing research into other people that have run the challenge or just any of the races over the course of the weekend. And it just seemed like people were saying, hotels are filling up, mayday, mayday. I don't think that is necessarily the case in hindsight, because I've continued to kind of keep an eye out for everything. But I did a lot of research on kind of where to stay ideally for the race, and just comparing prices, doing all of the things, the perks, the pros, the cons, listen to a ton of podcasts, tried to look up a lot of blogs because I wanted more of like a personal experience. More than anything, I found a lot of travel articles, but that was helpful information too. So done a ton of research on hotels and all of that. We'll talk about that another time. And then also did research on the training program and put one together. So that was week 1 and week 2. Now we're at week 3, which I will talk about in the next video. I didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to check in and say that for right now, this is kind of where I am. Ideally, if you are in the beginning stages of training for any race and you're at the point of training for it, you already have a base, a cardio base, a base of fitness, running as part of your routine. If you are just thinking about signing up for a race, especially signing up for multiple races back to back, make sure that you are running consistently and that you are healthy when you start the training plan, so that it's not this very abrupt change to your life and your schedule and your body and the time that you wake up and your recovery needs and what you're eating. And that's another thing that I have actually been working on as well, is a meal plan. I think that making sure you're fueling properly when you're asking your body to do athletic things is very important. And when I figured out my nutrition, it really changed my running. It helped me get healthier, lose weight, just feel better, have more energy, perform better, run faster. It is a priority for sure for me. So that is something that I am also incorporating into my training plan. But yeah, that's week 1 and 2. Really has just been mostly planning and preparing with the training plan, travel, which didn't have to be necessarily a priority right now. That's something that potentially could have waited. But I feel a lot better since I had the extra energy to expend, since I was kind of taking an easier run week, that I put all of my sillies into very productive things that are still helpful on some level to race weekend. But if you're training for the race, training for one of the races, any race, let me know. Make sure that you like and subscribe and chat with me on Instagram. Thanks for watching.